and the topic for the video is today we are going to read about the types of verbs. In the earlier video we have already talked about the verb and the forms of verbs. Today we are going to deal with the types. Okay, types of verbs. Again you are going to read about 8 types of verbs. Okay, and the first one is regular verbs. Now what do you mean by regular verbs? Now regular verbs are simply a verb or verbs that's past form, that is which form? V2 form, or past participle form, that is V3 form. Okay, a verb that's past form or past participle form is made by adding ed or id or d. Okay, let's say for example if I'm talking about pay. So pay is the original or the root or the base form of a verb. Now pay becomes paid, use of id. Okay, or die becomes died, use of ed. Sorry, use of d, only d is here. So again here you will understand one thing, that a verb which was already in the V1 form has been changed into V2 or V3 form. Pay, the V2 or V3 form of pay is paid and paid. Again in case of die, it's died and died. Okay, so here in this case the V2 or V3 form of V1 is made by just by adding D or ED or ID. Got it? Now let's read about the second type of verb, that is irregular verb. Okay, irregular verb is the opposite of the regular verb. Irregular verb. Now what does the irregular verb say? Irregular verb is actually very much opposite of the regular verb. In this case everything is just very much changed. Like here you will see now, here you will notice that V1 form or the V2 form and the V3 form, all of these 3 forms are entirely different from one another. Let's say for example if I talk about go, it is written in this form. Okay, let me specify it, V2 and V3. Okay, so it will be go, went, gone. Or like eat, ate, eaten. Okay, drink, drunk. Sorry, drink, drank, drunken. Awake, awoke, awoken. Okay, rise, rose, rising. Okay, let's give you some more example. Like it can also be written as drunk. Okay, or if I say that know, knew, known. Okay, or if I say like swim, swam, swum. Okay, in all of these cases if you will notice, you will see that V1, V2, V3 form, all of these 3 forms are entirely different from one another. Okay, as in another case, or unlike regular verbs. In regular verbs you saw that the V1 form, let's say for example this is a V1 form, so V2 and the V3 form, V2 and V3 form were same, were similar to one another. But irregular forms are very much very much opposite, okay, and it has no relations in case of it has no relations, and it doesn't share any kind of magnitudes with regular verbs. Got it? So remember this thing whenever you have to deal with the regular and the irregular verbs. Okay, so it simply has to talk about V2 and the V3 form. Okay, so V2 and V3 form, if you are given any type of verbs and the V2 and V3 forms are like very much similar to each other, in that case it is a kind of regular verbs. That is why we say regular means like indifferent. Okay, but when you say that it's irregular means something like different. Okay, so in this case V2, V3 are very much, all these form of verbs are entirely different from one another. Okay, now let's talk about the third type of verb. The third type of verb is linking or the helping verbs. Okay, linking or the helping verbs. Now what do you understand by linking or helping verbs? Now the name itself suggests here that linking or helping means a verb which is of helping nature. Okay, दूसरों की मदद करना. Okay, so these verbs are meant to help. Now what does they do? These connects the subject. These basically connects the subject to a noun or adjective. Okay, so these connects the subject to a noun or adjective, providing additional information about the subject. Okay, so these connects the subject to a noun or adjective, providing additional information about the subject. Let's say, for example, let's say like if I'm trying to narrate a story to you, like say about Ram. Okay, so I'm saying that Ram lives in my neighbor. Okay, Ram goes to school, or he goes to school. Again, Ram is a kind boy. So if you notice all these three sentences, you'll see that in case of the third sentence, I have said that Ram is a kind boy. Here I am trying to connect the subject with an adjective. Okay, this kind is an adjective and Ram is the subject. So here I am trying to connect a subject to the adjective. Okay, in this case we make use of helping verb, that is. Okay, so use of is, am or are. These three are basically considered as the helping verbs. And what are the functions they do? What are their functions? Their function is to connect the subject to a noun or adjective, providing additional information about the subject. Since you are talking about Ram, let's say someone new has shifted like in my neighbor, and I'm specifying about Ram. I'm saying that Ram lives in my neighbor and Ram goes to school. Then someone says that Ram is a kind boy. So here we got some additional information about Ram, about the subject I was talking about. Okay, so this is the role played by the helping verbs. Now let's consider our fourth type of verb. Now fourth type of verb is the action verb. Now the name itself suggests here action verb, the verb which denotes an action. That kind of verb is known as action verb. Okay, now action verb is mainly divided into two kinds. And what are those two kinds? One is transitive verb and another one is intransitive verb. Alright, now what is the difference between the two? What is the difference between intransitive verb and transitive verb? Transitive verbs, we already actually have, I have talked about these 2 points. No? I have already talked about these 2 things before. Let me make you remember these again. Transitive verbs makes use of an object. Okay, while intransitive verbs has nothing to do with an object. Okay, now let's say for example, if I'm saying that painter is painting the walls of the kitchen. Okay, and another case I'm saying that painter is painting right now. Now if you watch out these two sentences, you'll understand that in case of transitive verb, I'm saying that painter is painting the walls of the kitchen. Okay, in the first sentence I talked about this, that painter is painting the walls of the kitchen. So again, the examples specifies that painter, it is giving you acknowledged information that, like, let's say that if I'm asking that what is the painter doing, then painter is painting the walls. Okay, painter is painting. Okay, I know that painter must be painting, it's his duty to paint, but what is he painting? So in painter is painting the walls of the kitchen. So this sentence gives you a fulfilled information. But again, in this case, it's just saying that painter is painting right now. You do not know what is painting. It's just painting. That is all you know. So painter is painting the walls. It's the object. Walls are the object. So this sentence makes use of a proper object, while this sentence has no object. This sentence is hence, like, this sentence is giving you an unfulfilled information. Okay, unlike in transitive verbs. Okay, transitive verbs is specifying everything. Okay, they are specifying the object. So use of object is the transitive verbs, and no need of an object or no use of an object is the intransitive verbs. Now let's talk about the fifth form of the verb. The fifth form of the verb is finite verb. Okay, now what is finite verb? Finite verb means basically these are those verbs which basically change their forms according to their subject. Okay, now these are those verbs which change their forms. I already have talked about the forms of the verbs. If you haven't watched the video, go through the video. Okay, I've already talked about this in the introduction of verbs and the forms of the verbs. Okay, so these verbs basically change their forms according to the subject. Okay, now changing their forms means they are basically showing you the tenses. Okay, and these are limited to a number or gender of the subject. Okay, now finite verbs basically change their forms according to the subject. Like they basically works to show the tenses. They basically works in showing the tenses, and they are limited to the number or gender of the subject. Now let's give you some examples. Let's say for example I'm saying that she lives in States, or if I'm saying that she is living with her brother. Okay, again, she lived in Mumbai. Okay, she lived in Mumbai. Now in all of these sentences I am talking about the same subject. Okay, I am talking about the same subject, that is she. Okay, in all of these sentences I am talking about the same subject, that is she. But if you watch out all these sentences are in other forms. When I am saying that she lives in Patna, I am using present tense. She is living, I am using present continuous tense. She lived, I am using past tense. So she lives in States, she is living with her brother. again if you see this in all these sentences, we are changing the forms of the verb. What is the verb used here? The verb used here is leave. Simply it was leave, but we are changing its forms according to the subject. Okay, now these verbs tend to work to show the tenses. Okay, these here they are denoting the tenses. Again they are limited. The third point is that they are limited to the number or the gender of the subject. Okay, they are limited to the number or to the gender of the subject. Got it? Now these are the finite verbs. In the next we are going to read about infinite verbs. Infinite verbs. Now what do you mean by infinite verbs? Now if any verb makes use of to, or if to comes before the verb, if to comes before the verb. Okay, so what are infinite verbs? Infinite verbs are basically when it has to do with the verb. Okay, and if to comes before the verb, in that case those verbs are basically considered to be infinite verbs. Now unlike finite verbs, these are not limited to the number or gender of the subject. Okay, these are not limited to the number or the gender of the subject. Let's say for example, she knows how to sing. Okay, or Raman tries to dance. In both of the sentences you will see that they have made use of to before the verb. Okay, they have made use of to before the verb. Now any of the sentences which has to before the verb, those kinds of verb in those sentences will be considered as infinite verbs. Okay, they will be considered as infinite verbs. Now let's read about the next type of verbs. Okay, the next one is dynamic verbs. Dynamic verbs. Now what are dynamic verbs? Dynamic means, as the name says, dynamics means, what do you understand dynamic? Dynamic means one who is like working one. Okay, or who is like energetic all the time. Like there are so many people who like represent these things, these qualities of theirs in their CVs. Okay, they talk that I'm young and a dynamic person. Dynamic is full of energy. Full of energy means if he or she is to be told to do any kind of work, they will successfully do it. Okay, so dynamic means we are talking about any action. Okay, sometimes when you don't remember anything or you cannot understand anything, try to relate their meanings, try to relate with their raw meanings, and then maybe you will get to the answer. Okay, so dynamic basically denotes an action. Okay, it denotes an actual action. It denotes an actual action, or you can say as expression or any process done by the subject. Okay, so dynamic verbs basically denotes an actual action or expression or process done by the subject. Okay, let's say for example she buys her clothes from the same mall. Okay, so if you see here, we are trying to denote an actual action or an expression or a process which is done by the subject. Okay, so here the subject buys her clothes. From the same mall. So here we are talking about an action done by the subject. We're talking about an actual action or the process or an expression done by the subject. Okay, and that type of verb is basically known as the dynamic verb. Okay, now the last one is the static verb. Static verb, obviously the name will be just opposite. The function will be just opposite. Static is the opposite of dynamic. Now static means it just tells about the mind. It tells about the state of mind of the subject. Okay, it has nothing to do with the action. First of all, it states the state of mind of the subject. Okay, or you can say that it gives or it talks about the relation. It talks about the relation between the subject and object. Okay, so these are two things. First of all, it will state the state of the mind of the subject, or otherwise it gives the relationship between the subject and the object. Okay, let's say for example, if I'm saying that, let's say for example that she prefers coffee over tea. Again, if this sentence basically suggests the state of the mind. Okay, the state of the mind, that what does she prefers. Okay, so if she has been given with two options, okay, that either have coffee or tea, then she is going to choose coffee over tea. Okay, so here these kinds of verbs basically talks about the state of mind of the subject, or the relationship between the subject and the object. So here two objects was specified to her, one was coffee and tea, and we are actually trying to diminish the relation. We are trying to elucidate the relation between the subject and the object, and here we came to know that, oh my god, she is a coffee girl. Okay, so these are the types of verbs. I hope the types of verbs is clear to you. Here we read about 8 kinds of verbs. What was those? First was regular verb, then was irregular verbs, then helping or the linking verbs, then action verbs, in which we read about transitive and intransitive verbs. Then comes the finite verbs, then infinite verbs, then dynamic verbs, and then the static verbs. In the next video we are going to talk about the subject verb agreement, and after that we will get to do some of the questions related to the verbs.